select my desktop view. We create a new section. How do you add a new section to the page? With this section, you go and select the plus in the little blue box at the bottom and say add new section. Most of the time, like I mentioned before, you're going to work with columns, and most of the time, you're probably going to work with equal columns. Select equal columns, and we're going for 2 columns here. And let's first have a look at what's going on the page. Close the module inserter, and then we have our section here. Then we have a row. The row is always green, and inside that, we have 2 columns. On the left, click on the plus and search image. Click, and image drops in. This one is going to be very easy. We just switch out the image. Click in the option sidebar on the right. Bring in your image, this one, and upload. And we are done. That image is in and it's done. Next, we are going to bring in an overline, that one there. We're going to bring in an H2 title and then text. But you can see we have a problem. We work with a dark light scheme. That means everything that we're going to do here has to be dark. Let's start with the heading. That's going to be a simpler one. I'll click here on Add New Module or Row, search for heading, and select heading. And it gives us the default heading, which is the default within Divi 5. And we change out the text first. Our journey, let's call it our bean journey. Our bean journey. This is an About Us section. Now we do the styling up. The thing, though, is that our H2 is going to be very close to the H1. And now we get to this preset function and the system to which Divi is geared towards, Divi 5. Not so much Divi 4, but definitely Divi 5. In many other cases, I will not be teaching this again and again, but this is the DNA of Divi 5. So we learn it, and then you'll see how easier it is to work with Divi 5. Instead of styling this out all from scratch, the first thing we do is we go to the settings in the top right corner of the heading module and select H1 Light. And immediately we run into a problem because now we know that the H1 Light is light. It's at this point that we start making custom changes to it. Go to Design. This is a heading text, and we start at the top. The first thing is we put it on H2. The heading font, we don't touch this one almost ever. Heading font weight, I keep it on bold. Yes, I'll keep the font style, but the heading text alignment, let's leave it for now. Once we can see it, I will do that. Heading text color, select, and we choose now the heading text color, the dark version. Let's go one up and put it to left alignment. For the heading text size, now I add my 40 pixels, which I want to use here. And once I reduce it, you also reduce the letter spacing. And here I'll just use 1. For the line height, I'm going to use 1.2. And the reason is that it's quite possible that at some point this heading 2 may take up 2 lines, and then I want a little bit of separation. One thing I found is that go up to your layout and just make sure also your line items is to left. The stretch here is okay. But I found that, especially here at the top, sometimes when it's on center and then the text is also on center, it may get a little bit confusing. Test it quickly on tablet. This was 40 pixels. Go to the Design Layout Heading Text, and you see the heading text size is 72. Why? And this is because we are borrowing from the H1. I'll drop it down to 30. The letter spacing I'm going to reduce to 0. Squeeze it in nice and tight, and the heading line height at 1.2, I'll keep it. Next, mobile, scroll, and that looks fine to me. I'm going to keep that the same. Jump back to desktop, and I want to make a change. I want to change the color. Instead of the dark color, I want to use the bronze color here. Click here on the heading text color and select primary color. Nice. Let's just make sure that the same, so I have to also override it because I set it up earlier. I'll just quickly make sure that it also works. Very strange where you make these responsive changes. You have to go and check before you make changes to the preset. And now I've set up my H2, but it's not a preset. Strictly speaking, it's a H1 Lite with custom overrides. At the top, it says H1 Lite. We know it is not. How do I know that I've made changes? Divi recently added this option here, not option, this feature with these blue little dots telling you that you've made changes to the preset at the top or that you've made custom changes. For example, if you look here at the heading font style, it's on all caps, there's no little dot. Let's put it on italics, and the moment I do it, you see the dot appears. That tells you there's a change here that is different from the H1 Lite. I remove it and the dot is gone. I wish though that we could also have a little dot here within the preset to tell me that I've applied the preset, but that I've also applied overrides. The reason I say that, I've run into this many times. I make many changes very quickly, and then later when I come back, I'm confused why my preset, when I use it somewhere else, looks different. And it's because on my original preset, I've used custom overrides and I didn't save it. In this case, we are now creating an H2 preset. To create it, go to the top where it says H1 Lite, select it, and then select New Preset from Current Styles. Then preset's name, call it H2, and I'll call it Bronze. This works for me, my description. But before you click on Save, look at the very top here. Heading Presets, the H1 Lite is also in there. This is a stacking feature within Divi 5 that you can use. I still find this not always very clear, but when you save your custom overrides as a complete new preset, remove the original one. Click on H1 Lite and close it out so you only have the new one that you've created in the preset. And then the next most important step is Save Preset, and now we've created this one, H2 Bronze. You can test it. Let's bring in another one. Add new module or row, heading, drop it in, and let's say another heading. Go to the preset and assign it H2 Bronze. Let's delete it. Let's go for H1 Lite. And we cannot see it because it's light, but now you understand we have created the H1 and the H2. In this module 1, I'll say it a few times. Let's just go ahead and delete this one. Right click and select delete heading. That this system, the first time you encounter it, you feel, I don't want to go and do this. But when you think carefully about what you do in other builders or even in previous versions of Divi, you kind of set up with the same amount of steps these features, you just do it in a different way. And what happens in Divi 5, it feels too open. It feels that you have to do too much and make too much decision. Where can I just go and update the H1? Where can I just go and update the H2? They really want you in Divi to create the presets. They give you all the settings. I click on the text, design, heading text. They are all the H1s. But you decide which one you need, and then you create a preset for that. I hope that gives you an idea of how this works. Whenever you create a preset though, the challenge is always to make sure that you do not forget to do your responsive check as well. Most headings that I use are H2 headings. So instead, let's bring in another heading of bringing in the Divi default heading every time, which I'm not going to use. Let's set this H2 Bronze as a default. And that means that every time I bring in a new heading module, this one will display. To do that, select the H2 Bronze, this one that we've just created. And there are two ways you can do it. I showed you earlier, you can go to the Preset Manager in the panel on the left. Over here, Preset Manager. Then you can scroll down and you look for heading. Oh, no, up. Where am I now? There, heading. And here you see we have heading H1 Lite, H2 Bronze, and here is the heading Preset 1. And this little blue star determines which one is the default. All I need to do is click here on H2 Bronze. You can do it another place as well, which is what I usually do, because coming in here to the panel, searching through all of these modules takes time. Set it, click on the module to make sure you've selected it, go to the top right hand corner, select the preset H2 bronze, hover over the name, and now you see the same star appears here on the right, and it says assign preset as default. Before I select it, remember there is a default already on the page. The moment I click on this, click yes, there we go. And now every time I bring in a heading, let's bring in another one, it will apply this setting. Delete these. Up next is the overline. I'll bring in another overline, and this time, remember that is a text element. Look for text, drop it in, select it. Let's change the text first while we can see it. About us. And now with it selected, let's go to the preset option and select overline light. It disappears because it's white on white. Hop on over to design. This is text, not heading text, and let's start at the top. All of these settings remain the same. And notice there are no blue dots here. Nothing has changed from the setting overline light. Go to the text color, select, and we set it to heading text color. And once I do that, the blue little dot appears. We also have our color here. We know now that we've made this change. We also know, now that we can see it, that we need to align it to the left. Go to text alignment, again, no blue dot, select left, blue dot appears. And these two indicate to us that we have changed the preset. Here, I run into that issue which I told you earlier, why is it still center? And this I found, you go to layout, and you go to align items, and if it's on center for some reason like I did here, click here on start or stretch. I'll just put it on start. Now we've created the overline, but this is overline dark, so we create a new preset. Think, how are we going to create this new preset? Go to the top right corner, current preset, click on it, then select new preset from current style. Give it a name. This one is overline dark. Go to the top and make sure you remove the overline light preset. Select save preset, and it's done. Every time I bring in a new text element, let's look for text again. Add some text here. Go to the preset and select overline dark. We get what we expect. Let's delete this one and change the order. I want to put the overline on top of our bean journey. Bring in some regular text, and now we're going to work with regular paragraph text. Click on the plus to bring in a module. I look for text and I drop the text in. I have some lorem ipsum text that I'll copy and I'll paste it here, and that's it. Standard lorem ipsum text. This is my opportunity now to work with how I want my standard base body paragraph to look. Go to design, go to text because it's a text element, and let's look at it from the top. The text font, I already set that under my variables. It's Rubik. I don't need to make any changes here. The text font though, I want to just slightly drop it to light, which is 300. Text font style, no changes here. Text color, no changes here. We use the dark color, and the text size I want to increase to 16. Text letter spacing, don't touch that. And for the text line height, I'll put in 1.7. Did you see what happened there? The original was 1.7, but when I typed in 1.7, it still expanded. Strange thing again, and there's no reset here. Divi thinks this is the value, but I know for a fact that there was a little bit more space added there. Even though you saw that value of 1.7 in the box, when I typed in 1.7, it did change on the page. So don't just accept the default value for what it is. I definitely saw that change happen. I'm not sure if it's just visual. Maybe it's not really translating onto the page, but I'll go ahead and type in 1.7. And now I've created my paragraph. Just like we did before, because I will use the paragraph option many times, I will go ahead and create a preset for it. With the module selected, go to the top, select new preset from current style, and this one I will call paragraph or body. We can call it body. I like paragraph. And I'll say paragraph normal. and you'll see soon why I'm going to call it paragraph normal, save preset, and now I have a normal paragraph. Also, because this is kind of the standard I want to use for my text element every time I bring it in, I'm going to set this preset, paragraph normal, as my default preset. Head on over to the top right corner again, select paragraph normal preset, hover over the setting, go all the way to the right, and select assign preset as default. And click yes here in the bottom to make sure it's locked in. Now I know that every time I bring in a text element, a text module, this will be the style. In fact, let's do that. Let's click here on add new module or row and bring in text. And we will use this for the next part. You can see, perfect. Design is exactly the same. For this one, select the text and I'll paste my lorem ipsum text, a little different. But now I want all of this to be darker, bold. One of the things that I see a lot of people make a mistake with, and we all do it sometimes, is that when they want something bold and they have a rich text editor, they will select all the text and they will click here on this B for bold. This has slightly different function. Bold means strong. It means something that has to stand out and has to be noticed. If you are using it for design purposes, you do not use the bold feature, which is what I'm going to do here. Go to design this time, text because it is a paragraph text element. And now for the text font weight, we select bold from here and everything is bold. Note, we get the blue little dot, which tells us that we've made a custom change here. But not only do I want to make this change, I also want to save this style so that I can reuse this preset in the future. With it selected, I go to the presets at the top, select new preset from current style, and I'll call this one paragraph bold. And this way, I'm building out my presets one by one. You'll see there is no other preset assigned here or loaded at the top. And that is because the paragraph normal or regular, I made it my default so it doesn't appear there. All I need to do is in the bottom right hand corner, click save. One mistake that I've made is that we've done all of this and I didn't check our responsiveness. Because the paragraph sections work very nicely across the different devices, there should be no issues. And the other two, our overline and our heading also looks good. I had to catch my breath there for a moment because when creating a preset and you forget about the responsive views, this will cause confusion just a few steps down the line. So really bring in that check all the time. And I guess that is why we start working with things like clamp in the future, so you don't even have to worry about that. JP, you keep talking about clamp and fluid typography and all that jazz. What is that all about? Now, Johnny, for that one, you will need to finish this course first, and then we'll get to module 2 and 3. We'll cover that in detail. Thank you very much. Anyway, enough of that. Before we get into the next one, which is going to be something very interesting, done differently in Divi, I just want to make sure that we apply the same padding to this section, which is 100 pixels at the top and the bottom. Let's start with selecting our section, go to design, and then spacing, then padding at the top, 100 pixels, and click on the link to make sure we link that. Go to tablet, we change the 100 at the top to 55, and we link it. Link, there we go. And then let's see how it will look on mobile device. I think the 55 looks good on the mobile device. Grand.